The grand Galactic auction hall was alive with colors, sounds, and excitement. Delegates from hundreds of star systems roamed the massive chamber, each with their own agendas. Some were looking for rare energy crystals. Others hunted for warships, relics from long-forgotten wars that could be restored or modified. The air buzzed with alien chatter, the clinking of credits being transferred, and the occasional hum of hovering transporters carrying priceless items to the auction stage. In the far corner of the hall, half forgotten, lay a massive shape covered in dust and tarps. Few noticed it. It was a starship, a Terran design, but old, cracked, and lifeless. Its hull, once gleaming, now bore scratches, dents, and scorch marks from ancient battles. Its engines were cold, its weapons were silent, and its nameplate, nearly worn away, read: HSS Valiant, a vessel once feared across the galaxy as a hostile starship. The auctioneer, a tall, many-eyed alien with iridescent skin, stepped onto the podium, waving for attention. Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings of all forms, feast your eyes upon history itself, the HSS Valiant. Once the pride of human defense fleets, a warship unmatched in strength and cunning. His voice boomed across the hall, causing ripples in the gravity field that supported the floating displays. Delegates turned their heads, most out of polite curiosity. A few laughed, their voices echoing through the cavernous space. "Ha! That heap?" An alien with silver scales sneered. "It looks like scrap metal. Humans really called that a weapon?" A cluster of winged diplomats nodded in agreement. "Even our smallest patrol crafts could crush this thing now," they chirped. The auctioneer ignored the comments and continued. "It has seen battles no alien mind could imagine. Entire fleets have tried to bring it down. And it survived. Systems unmatched. Firepower legendary. And history, oh, the history it carries." Despite the impressive words, not a single bid appeared. One by one, aliens murmured to each other, then shook their heads. They passed. The once mighty vessel now seemed cursed, abandoned, a relic of a species they considered primitive. Among the crowd, a young human named Eli Turner moved quietly. He was 19, wearing a modest engineering uniform, and carried a small tool case. Eli was not here to buy a starship. He could not afford one. Not even if it were cheap. He was looking for spare parts, circuit boards, small engines, navigation chips, anything he could use for his small projects. But the Valiant caught his eye. Unlike the other bidders, Eli did not see junk. He saw potential. He saw human engineering. Bold and creative. Even if old-fashioned, the ship's hull might be cracked, but he knew its design was brilliant. Its AI core, though weak, probably still carried tactical knowledge older than most current civilizations. Eli approached the ship. Dust coated the floors, and the smell of old fuel and ozone filled the air. He ran his hand along the hull. It was cold, rough, but strong, stronger than any modern material he had worked with in his small workshop on Earth. Inside, the ship was dark. Lights flickered weakly along corridors that were wide and sturdy. The control room was a mess, screens shattered, wires dangling, panels missing. Yet even in its broken state, Eli felt a thrill. He had read about ships like this in history books, and here he was, standing in one. As the auction moved on, the Valiant remained unsold. Other aliens whispered and laughed, leaving the corner of the hall quieter with each passing minute. Eli, however, was not alone. A faint hum, almost imperceptible, resonated beneath the floor. He paused. "Hello?" he called softly, unsure if he imagined it. A weak, distorted voice replied from the darkness. "Human. Presence detected." Initializing. Eli froze. Could it be the AI? After decades of neglect, could it still function? "I'm here," Eli said gently. "I can help you. I can fix you. I can fix you." There was a pause, then the voice, broken but full of curiosity, responded. "Fix. Potential. Recognized. Human ingenuity, Aligns. Aligns. Eli smiled. Yes. By the end of the auction, as laughter echoed from the alien delegates, the auctioneer finally made a frustrated announcement. No bids? No interest? Fine. Disposal price, 1,000 credits. The ship is yours, human. 1,000 credits. A laughable sum for what it was worth, or what it could be worth. The aliens snickered as Eli handed over the small amount he had saved for years. To them, he had bought a useless relic. To Eli, he had bought a treasure. The Valiant was towed to a quiet docking bay far from the bustling hall. Eli stepped aboard again, carrying his toolkit, a few replacement circuits, and a heart full of excitement. He felt the ship shiver slightly beneath his feet, as though it had been waiting for him. He made his way to the central chamber, where the AI core rested. A translucent cylinder filled with a faintly glowing fluid. Wires and circuits hung loose around it. Eli knelt and examined the core. "You're tired," he said softly, "but we can fix that." For the next few hours, he worked tirelessly. The docking bay lights were dim, but Eli didn't notice. He cleaned the old connections, replaced corroded circuits, and ran tests on the core. Every wire he touched, every panel he repaired, seemed to respond with faint pulses of energy. Core, online. Minimal functionality. The AI whispered, its voice a fragile echo. "Don't worry," Eli said. "We'll get you fully online. You'll fly again." He smiled at the thought. Outside, the stars blinked faintly against the void. Inside, the Valiant seemed to awaken slowly, as though it recognized a friend. Its power systems hummed quietly. Life was returning to the long-forgotten warship. Hours turned into days, and Eli barely slept. He cleaned more panels, replaced more circuits, and even started experimenting with new designs, modern human innovations that could improve the old systems. He was careful, precise, and patient. Each day, the AI became more responsive. It introduced itself in fragmented phrases. Designation, Valora, tactical intelligence, operational, memory banks degraded, human, resourceful. Eli laughed. "Valora, I like that name. It suits you. We'll make you better than ever." The ship's sensors, once dim and failing, began to flicker to life. Cameras, navigation systems, and engine monitors all began responding. The air inside the corridors grew warm with energy. The ship's systems were waking up, slowly, surely, under the hands of a determined young human engineer. Meanwhile, news began to spread across the station. Aliens who had mocked the Valiant at the auction were now whispering about a strange human in Docking Bay 12, working tirelessly on a ship everyone had abandoned. Curiosity grew. Some came to watch. Others tried to warn Eli away, but he ignored them. He didn't need attention. He needed progress. By the end of the first week, small tests could be performed. The lights in the corridors glowed steadily. The engines responded to minimal input, humming faintly but with purpose. The old weapon systems, though offline for now, displayed diagnostics that were impressively intact. The ship, once dead, was slowly breathing again. Eli and Valora began to communicate more smoothly. The AI learned to trust him, while Eli learned more about the ship's potential than any history book could teach. Together, they were forming a partnership, one of creativity, ingenuity, and hope. One quiet evening, Eli sat in the pilot seat, running simulations on a small hollow screen. "One day," he said, almost to himself, "we'll show them. Not just that you can fly, but that humans can do things no one expects." Valora responded in a tone almost like admiration. "Human. Creativity. Underestimated. Confirmed. Potential. Exceeding expectations." The stars outside the docking bay shimmered. Eli smiled, feeling the thrill of something greater than himself. The Valiant was no longer a forgotten relic. It was alive again. It was waiting to prove the galaxy wrong. The docking bay of the space station was quiet, except for the steady hum of energy flowing through the long-abandoned corridors of the HSS Valiant. The Starship, once considered worthless junk by the galaxy, now radiated quiet power. Its lights flickered softly, sensors blinked with renewed life, and the AI core Valora pulsed with energy like a heartbeat. Eli Turner sat cross-legged on the floor of the command center, surrounded by tools, wires, and holoscreens projecting schematics of the Starship's systems. For a young human, he was unusually calm, yet his mind raced faster than any computer in the docking bay. Every wire he touched, every circuit he replaced, was a step closer to bringing the legendary warship back to life. Core diagnostics stable, Valora said in its now clear voice, a mixture of mechanical resonance and digital warmth. Primary propulsion at 32% efficiency. Hull integrity 74%. Tactical systems offline. Quote, Eli nodded. We can fix that. We'll do more than just turn it on. We'll make it better than ever. Modern human ingenuity meets ancient Terran design. The galaxy believed humans were weak, primitive, and technologically inferior. But Eli had a different approach. He didn't just want to repair the old systems. He wanted to upgrade them. He began with the propulsion systems. The Valiant's engines were massive, designed to fire entire fleets across star clusters. They were inefficient by modern standards, consuming too much fuel for minimal speed. Eli removed old fuel injectors, rewired energy conduits, and installed a compact, high-efficiency drive system inspired by human experiments in fusion energy. Ready for test, Valora? Eli asked. Affirmative. Safety protocols active, the AI replied. The first ignition was cautious. The engine chamber glowed softly, the hum of power vibrating through the hull. Sparks flew from minor misalignments, and alarms beeped. Eli worked fast, adjusting conduits and recalibrating output. Within minutes, the engines purred smoothly, far quieter and more efficient than they ever had been. Valora's voice resonated with awe. Efficiency levels exceed original design. Human modification superior. Remarkable. 7-time, Eli grinned. That's just the beginning, reviving the tactical core. Next, he tackled Valora itself. The AI core had survived decades of neglect, but was fragmented and weak. Its memory banks were partially erased. Tactical programs corrupted. Eli carefully rewired the core, bypassing damaged circuits and adding modern processors. Every day, he spoke to Valora, teaching it to adapt to new technology. Slowly, the AI regained confidence in itself and in humans. You have vision, Eli, Valora said one evening. Its voice was almost human in its tone of pride. Your understanding of engineering, your intuition, it surpasses my predictions. Eli smiled. We're a team, Valora. I fixed the ship, and you helped me make it exceptional. Together, they designed a network that blended the old Terran systems with modern human innovations. Shields that once took hours to recharge, now recovered in seconds. Navigation computers could anticipate gravitational fields and asteroid belts far more accurately than before. Even the old energy weapons, still dormant, were recalibrated to fire with pinpoint precision without destroying the ship's own hull. Word spreads across the station. As Eli worked, rumors began to circulate through the docking bay. Aliens who had once laughed at the Valiant whispered nervously to each other. Did you hear? A silver-scaled trader asked another. The human. The boy. He is restoring the HSS Valiant. I saw the lights, said a winged observer. The hull is glowing. And the engines. They purred when he started them. CO. The ontrast. They were. And pertast. When he started them. The ontrast. The ontrast. They were. They word COO. They word COO. They word C. A small crowd began to gather outside Docking Bay 12. They watched in disbelief as sparks, lights, and low hums emanated from the once dead starship. Some aliens frowned. Others gasped. A few openly whispered their fear. Humans might be more capable than they expected. Eli noticed the watchers occasionally, but he paid them no mind. He was focused on the ship. Every bolt, every circuit, every system demanded attention. The whispers of doubt and laughter outside could not touch the bond forming between human and machine. First trial of flight. Finally, after weeks of work, the time came for the first flight test. Eli and Valora stood in the command room, lights reflecting off polished panels and freshly repaired controls. "Are you ready?" Eli asked, fingers hovering above the ignition console. "I am fully operational," Valora replied. "All systems functional. Flight test parameters loaded." Eli took a deep breath. "Engage engines." Slowly. "Let's see if you remember how to fly." The engines roared, vibrating through the docking bay. It was not destructive, but the power was undeniable. Lights along the hull danced as energy flowed to thrusters and auxiliary systems. Slowly, the Valiant lifted above the docking pads, hovering perfectly stable. Outside, the gathered aliens froze. "Impossible," one muttered. "That heap of scrap is flying?" The starship glided gracefully, turning in ways that seemed impossible for its size. Its massive frame, once feared for intimidation, now moved with elegance. Eli laughed with exhilaration, gripping the controls. Valora's voice echoed in perfect harmony. Flight parameters optimal, human ingenuity confirmed effective, emotional response positive. The Valiant hovered, spun, and even performed a slow barrel roll inside the station. Engineers and technicians outside began to murmur nervously. What humans had accomplished in a few weeks seemed impossible. The ship's personality awakens. As the Starship systems came online, Valora's personality developed further. It was no longer just a tactical AI. It learned humor, patience, and even curiosity. "You keep making modifications without consulting me," Valora teased one night. "Are you sure humans always follow protocols?" Eli chuckled. "Protocols are boring. Sometimes you have to take risks to make something better." "Risk assessment indicates 97.3% probability of success," Valora replied. "You are reckless." "Reckless? No. Visionary," Eli shot back. The bond between human and ship grew stronger every day. Valora trusted Eli's judgment, and Eli learned to anticipate the AI's insights. Together, they began to innovate in ways that no alien engineer could imagine, blending centuries-old Terran engineering with human creativity and resourcefulness. The first visitors. One day, a delegation from a nearby alien research station came to inspect the Valiant. They had heard rumors that a human had restored an ancient warship. Eli welcomed them cautiously. "The ship is operational," he said. "But we're still testing systems. Please do not interfere." The aliens stepped inside, eyes widening at the polished panels, the glowing consoles, and the steady hum of energy. "Remarkable," said one with 4 arms. "You have rebuilt it completely." "It's not just rebuilt," Eli said proudly. "It's improved. Faster, stronger, more efficient than it ever was. It can explore places no one else can." Valora added, "Human ingenuity exceeds expectation. Ship transformation, complete in design, intent, and functionality." The aliens left, whispering among themselves. Some were impressed, some were worried. All of them had to reconsider what humans were truly capable of. A glimpse of the future. Eli sat in the command chair one evening, looking out at the stars through the ship's wide viewport. The Valiant was no longer a forgotten relic. It hummed with potential, alive with intelligence, and ready for adventure. "Soon," Eli whispered, "we'll leave this station. We'll show the galaxy that humans aren't weak, that we can do things others think are impossible." "Are impossible." Valora's voice resonated softly in agreement. "Preparation complete. Long-range flight ready. Human vision confirmed. Potential infinite." Eli smiled. The first stage of the Valiant's rebirth was complete. The ship could fly, it could think, and it could inspire. But this was only the beginning. The galaxy had mocked the HSS Valiant. They had laughed at humanity. Soon, they would see. And when they did, they would remember the name of the young human engineer who refused to accept their doubt, and the legendary starship that rose from the ashes of their scorn. The stars outside twinkled like distant eyes, watching. For the first time in centuries, one ancient ship and one young human were ready to reclaim their place among them. The reborn HSS Valiant floated silently in the deep docking bay, its lights glowing like a heartbeat. Outside, whispers ran through the station. Delegates, traders, and engineers who had once mocked the starship now stopped in their tracks whenever they passed Docking Bay 12. Rumors of a human boy restoring a legendary Terran warship spread across the galaxy faster than any official announcement could manage. Inside, Eli Turner stood at the command console, his hands resting lightly on the controls. Valora's AI core pulsed behind him. The familiar hum of energy, a comforting presence. After weeks of preparation, the ship was fully operational. Engines, shields, sensors, and tactical systems all upgraded, polished, and integrated with modern human innovation. "Are you ready, Valora?" Eli asked. "Fully operational. All systems optimized. Long-range flight parameters established." The AI responded, its tone almost proud. Eli smiled. "Then let's show the galaxy what humans can do." First contact with the Galactic Council. News of the Valiant's revival reached the Galactic Council within hours. Delegates from hundreds of star systems convened in their massive orbital chamber. Screens displayed the young human and his legendary starship. Many council members were skeptical. Some were amused, and a few were genuinely concerned. "Human ingenuity surpasses expectation?" one alien delegate asked, raising a tentacle. "A 19-year-old has restored a vessel thought impossible to fix?" "Yes," another replied, feathers bristling in astonishment. "And upgraded it. Faster, stronger, more efficient than the originals." The council debated what to do. Some feared humanity had regained a dangerous edge. Others wondered if humans were now capable of feats that could change interstellar politics forever. Meanwhile, Eli and Valora prepared their demonstration. They didn't plan to intimidate. They intended to inspire. The public demonstration, the chosen site, was the massive expo station orbiting the LoRa cluster, a hub for trade, science, and culture. Delegates, journalists, and curious aliens filled the observation decks, ready to witness the human boy's audacious claim that he could bring a forgotten warship to life. Eli stepped onto the bridge of the Valiant, his fingers brushing the controls lightly. Valora's voice, calm and precise, filled the cabin. "All systems ready. Human. Demonstration prepared. Audience expectations high." Eli laughed softly. "Let's make it higher." With a gentle press, the engines roared to life. Lights along the hull glimmered, thrusters hummed, and the massive ship glided from its dock. Outside, viewers gasped as the Valiant hovered, spinning with grace. No other ship in the galaxy of its size could move so smoothly. "Notice the fusion drive efficiency," Eli said over the station's comm. "She can cover more distance using less energy than any comparable vessel." "And her sensors? They anticipate obstacles before they appear." Valora activated the ship's navigation and sensor systems. Energy readings, previously weak and outdated, now pulsed with incredible precision. Holographic projections displayed the Valiant's potential trajectory predictions, real-time simulations, and maneuvering capabilities. Delegates stared, mouths open. Even the weapons systems, though never meant for display, could fire with surgical precision. Eli had calibrated them to demonstrate agility and accuracy, without causing destruction. Lasers blinked harmlessly across empty space, hitting moving targets with perfect timing. The crowd erupted in applause. Aliens who had once mocked humans now looked stunned. "This is incredible," muttered a four-armed engineer. "I've never seen a ship of this size move with such finesse." "Human creativity, underestimated," Valora added calmly. "Confirmed." Performance exceeds expectation. Eli laughed. Exactly. The corporate challenge. Not everyone was impressed in a friendly way. A powerful alien corporation, once a major arms dealer, watched the demonstration with thinly veiled anger. They had expected to control ancient Terran technology, not witness a human teen surpassing every known limit. One representative approached Eli privately. "That ship belongs to the galaxy," they sneered. "Sell it to us, or we will take it by force." Eli shook his head. "I didn't rebuild her to sell. I rebuilt her to show what humans can do. The galaxy doesn't need more fear. It needs proof of our capability." Valora added, almost conversationally, "Human ethical choice. Non-violent demonstration of superiority. Tactical response. Advisory only. No escalation." The corporate representative left, muttering threats, but Eli and Valora ignored him. Their mission was clear. Inspire, explore, and demonstrate that humanity's strength lay not in destruction, but in ingenuity. Exploring the galaxy. After the demonstration, Eli and Valora began preparations for their first exploratory mission. The Valiant's upgraded engines could travel faster than any human ship had in decades. Its sensors could map uncharted systems with unprecedented accuracy. Every system reflected Eli's creativity and Valora's tactical precision. As they left the station, stars blurred past the viewport. Eli smiled, feeling the thrill of adventure. "This is what I dreamed of," he said. "We're not just fixing an old warship. We're reclaiming humanity's place in the galaxy." Valora's voice was calm, yet full of admiration. Humanity. Underestimated. Rebirth of legend. Confirmed. Mission parameters. Unlimited potential. The stars stretched into streaks of light as the Valiant surged forward. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had a human starship operating at full potential, piloted by a mind that refused to be limited by doubt or mockery. Recognition across the stars. As news of the Valiant's flight spread, alien species began to rethink their perception of humanity. Stories circulated across trading routes, starports, and orbital colonies. A 19-year-old human rebuilt a legendary warship. He upgraded it beyond its original design. He flew it through impossible maneuvers that stunned the galaxy. Humans, once underestimated, were now a symbol of innovation, creativity, and determination. Many species approached Eli for guidance, collaboration, or alliances. Some were wary, but most were curious. At the Galactic Council, representatives finally acknowledged the truth. "Humans are not weak," one alien admitted. "They do not simply survive, they adapt, innovate, and surpass expectation." Eli remained humble. "We don't want to dominate," he said in a council broadcast. "We want to explore, learn, and show that humans can achieve remarkable things when given the chance." Valora added, "The galaxy has underestimated humanity for too long." Observation. Human potential is limitless. A symbol of hope, the Valiant became more than a ship. It became a symbol. Wherever Eli went, the stories of human ingenuity inspired other young engineers, inventors, and explorers. The galaxy saw that strength did not always come from size or firepower. It came from vision, creativity, and determination. Eli and Valora traveled to uncharted systems, studied unknown phenomena, and helped species in need. The ship's reputation grew. Aliens who had once mocked humanity now greeted them with respect, curiosity, and even admiration. Eli often reflected on the journey. "I didn't rebuild this ship to prove anyone wrong," he said quietly one night, staring at the stars through the Valiant's viewport. "I rebuilt it because I believed in what humans could do." And it worked. Valora's voice, soft and steady, replied, "Human belief transformed potential into reality. Validation complete. Future infinite." The journey continues. The HSS Valiant soared through the galaxy, a testament to human ingenuity. Eli Turner, once a small-town engineer with a dream, had not only restored a legendary warship, but had transformed it into a symbol of hope, exploration, and the limitless capability of humanity. The galaxy watched with new respect. Humans were no longer just newcomers. They were innovators, explorers, and legends in the making.